today. And I heard about this pastor. He decided to skip church one Sunday morning and go play golf. He told his assistant he wasn't feeling well, and he drove to a golf course in another city where nobody would know him. He teed off on the first hole, and suddenly the wind picked up his ball and carried it an extra 100 yards and blew it right into the hole for a 420-yard hole-in-one. An angel looked at God and said, "What'd you do that for?" God smiled and said, "Who's he going to tell?" I heard about this little girl. She was sitting on her grandfather's lap. She noticed how wrinkled his face was. As she contemplated the difference between hers and his, she said, "Granddaddy, did God make you?" He laughed and said, "Yes, honey, God made me a long time ago." She said, "Well, did God make me?" He said, "Yes, God made you just a little while ago." She thought about it a moment and said, "Granddaddy, God's getting better, isn't he?" I heard about this pastor. He was raising money for a new sanctuary. He told his congregation one Sunday morning, "If anybody will give $1,000, you can pick out the next 3 hymns." A little old lady in the back raised up her hand and said, "Pastor, I'll do it." He was so excited. He said, "Thank you so much. Go ahead and pick out the next 3 hymns." She looked over the congregation and said, "I'll take him and him and him." Don't get mad at me. These are just little jokes, y'all. But I heard about this Sunday morning church service. It was going just fine. All of a sudden, this lightning bolt hit. When the smoke cleared, Satan himself was standing behind the podium. People panicked and ran out of the building as fast as they could. Satan stood there with glee. But suddenly, his mood changed when he noticed a woman sitting on the front row just as calm as can be. He said, "Lady, do you know who I am?" She said, "I sure do." He said, "Aren't you afraid of me?" She said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Why not?" She said, "Why should I be? For 30 years, I've been married to your brother." I heard about this lady that was shopping with her husband. He had asked her to not buy any new clothes. Well, she saw this dress in the window and decided to try it on. She liked it so much, she bought it in secret. A couple of days later, the husband discovered it, and he was so upset. And she explained to him that when she tried it on, it looked so good that Satan tempted her to buy it, and she just couldn't resist it. He said, "Well, why didn't you do what the scripture says and say, 'Get behind me, Satan'?" She said, "I did," and he told me it looked even better.